Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I almost said, how are you?
Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, good evening. Welcome to the Grand Traverse County Resource Management Administration Committee meeting. Today is Wednesday, December 10th. It's a little after 6 p.m. We will call this meeting to order, and we will stand for the pledge. If Commissioner Thomas can lead us in the pledge, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you have a cell phone, if you could put that on silent or vibrate, that would be much appreciated. And next, we will have a roll call attendance, please, by the clerk.
Wheelock.
Yes, ma'am.
Thomas.
Yep.
Rennie.
Here.
Maxbauer. Here. Limcool.
Here.
Lathrop.
Yep.
Inman.
Here. Okay, next item is the approval of the minutes for the October 2014 RMA meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the October 8th regular minutes of the Resource Management Committee.
All right, moved by Wheelock, seconded by Commissioner Rennie.
Okay, that's enough talk.
To approve the minutes of October 8th, 2014. Any discussion? Yes, Commissioner Thomas.
Roll call vote.
Okay, you were in there? Okay. Let's do a roll call, please.
Thomas.
Abstain.
Rennie.
Yes.
Maxbauer.
Yes.
Limcool.
Yep.
Lathrop.
Yeah.
Wheelock.
Yes, ma'am.
Inman.
Yes. Motion passes. Huh?
You weren't here either.
You know, it doesn't matter. Robert's Rules actually says, even if you're absent, so long as you review the minutes, you can vote on them. Either way, it doesn't matter to me.
All right, I'll change my vote.
Then we need to correct the minutes, because it shows that Thomas and Inman were there as present.
Okay. So why don't you just rescind the previous motion and start all over?
Let's just have a motion to correct the minutes. That'd be
Okay.
fine. So moved.
I got it, does say
All right, we have a motion to correct the minutes that were previously approved.
Who made the motion?
Rennie, is there a second?
Oh, second.
Second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes. All right. Next is the first public comment, and if the clerk could read the rules on public comment, please.
Any person shall be permitted to address a meeting of the Board of Commissioners which is required to be open to the public under the provision of the Michigan Open Meetings Act. Public comment shall be carried out in accordance with the following board rules and procedures. Any person wishing to address the board shall state his or her name and address. No person shall be allowed to speak more than once on the same matter, excluding time needed to answer commissioners' questions, if any. The chairperson shall control the amount of time each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes. The chairperson may, at his or her discretion, extend the amount of time any person is allowed to speak. Public comment will be solicited during the 2 public comment periods noted in Rule 5.4, Order of Business. However, public comment will generally be received at any time during the meeting regarding a specific topic currently under discussion by the board. Members of the public wishing to comment should raise their hand or pass a note to the clerk in order to be recognized and shall not address the board until called upon by the chairperson.
Okay, the guidelines for public comment have been read. Does any member of the public wish to speak at this time? Go ahead.
My name is Corey Nielsen. I reside at 3800 Cedar Lake Road, Traverse City, Michigan. It appears that yesterday a commissioner contacted the Record Eagle to initiate an article about her concerns regarding my appointment to the Road Commission. She did not contact me about such concerns. She did not invite me here to answer any questions this evening. So apparently, either she believes that she knows everything she needs to know about my company's history with Northwestern Bank, or she does not really care about the facts. However, since that commissioner was not on the board of Northwestern Bank, nor does she work for the FDIC, there is no way she could know all the facts about the situation. Therefore, the only conclusion one can reach is that she does not really care about the facts. That conclusion is bolstered by the fact that the article served no public purpose, since it contained no facts or formal accusations, only innuendo. I am forced to conclude that it was intended to try to hurt me, to pressure me into stepping down from the road commission appointment. The appropriate place for these concerns to be aired would have been here, in an official public meeting with the rest of the board present. We would expect this type of unprofessional behavior by elected officials in Chicago or Detroit, but I do not expect it in Traverse City. If any members of the board have genuine concerns, I will try to answer them. I will need to balance your desires for information with my obligation to keep the confidentiality that I owe various companies and individuals. Regarding team services, let's remember that Grand Traverse County actually wanted team services to continue road brining. It was team services that refused to road brine until it could get to the bottom of the allegations regarding pollution. Then team services spent $18,000 testing the roads and ditches for pollutants. It hired Gosling Zubek, who worked under the direction of the DEQ. All the results came back clean. Let's also remember that the only brine spread on these roads came from wells that were approved by the state for brine spreading. Attacking the company that spreads approved brine is like shooting the messenger. Regarding Northwestern Bank, anyone who has bothered to educate themselves on the issue knows that the FDIC has determined that Northwestern Bank staff lied to the federal government. It also exceeded its legal lending limits in loans to the portfolio that we manage. The FDIC said that Northwestern Bank staff violated banking regulations. That's what happened. That's the story. Chairperson, may I have one more minute?
Yes, you may, and then I need to make a formal disclosure to you after you make your public comment.
Thank you. Our portfolio was caught in the crossfire. We negotiated a renewal package with Northwestern Bank, but because Northwestern was having issues with the FDIC, we were informed that we could not have all the terms of our renewal package in writing. So the FDIC would not know about all the terms. We did not feel that that was ethical. We felt that was misleading the federal government. That's what broke down the loan renewals. I think some folks over at Northwestern Bank thought that if they foreclosed on our real estate, we would eventually break down and give them the renewals that they wanted. But we did not. It was their option to renew or foreclose, and they chose to foreclose. I have some more comments, but I understand that the time is up.
Okay. There's always a point for a second comment at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I do need, it's going to be disclosed at this meeting, but for courtesy's sake, I need to advise you of a legal opinion that we have that we were unaware of at the time of the date of the interview, and from our civil counsel here at the county. And it does say that state law requires that the full board appoint members of the road commission by the vote must be passed by the majority of the members elected and serving. That's 4 people. And as you know, the vote for your appointment was 3-2. So we need to advise you, at least at this time, that the vote for your appointment does not stand because we did not get a majority of the vote from the county board. So I will be placing this on the agenda, and we'll be discussing an alternate plan for that opening. And I guess my recommendation will be to the board that we just re-advertise and re-interview everyone, and you're certainly welcome to re-interview again in front of the full board again, rather than 5, the 7 of us, and then re-interview, and hopefully we can come to some conclusion before the board meeting on December 23rd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay? All right. Okay, any other public comment? Yes, come on up.
My name is Bill Packer. I live at 3437 Holiday View Drive in Traverse City. And I have a concern with the outsourcing of the Soil and Erosion Department inspections. And I am currently, I'm the owner of Packer Builders, a local building and remodeling company, and I'm also the current president of the Home Builders Association. Our concern is that as I understand it, there is nothing in place right now where the inspectors are going to be able to assume the duties of the inspection as of January 1st. I understand that they want to close the department or the inspections part December 31st. This will affect all the builders in the area that do have current soil and erosion permits out there and that are looking to obtain new ones, because it'll stop the process. They won't be able to get their inspections timely, and they won't be able to get certificate of occupancies, and it will just disrupt the industry quite a bit. That's our big concern. We do, as a nonprofit, we do understand budgeting concerns, so we empathize with you on that. But if we do outsource the inspectors, we would like to know, the association would like to be informed as much as possible with the process and the procedure of how that's going to go forward from here. We all work with subcontractors in this industry, and sometimes they are not readily available. And if these are subcontractors that are certified, that are servicing these other counties that I saw, I did watch the video on the December 1st meeting here. And if they are servicing other counties, are we going to be able to get them in here in a timely fashion, or are we going to be held up a week or 10 days waiting for that to happen? It's difficult to schedule your project when you're a little uncertain as to the procedure and the process, or when these inspectors might be available. Right now, things move along pretty smoothly. I've used the Soil and Erosion Department myself a couple of times this year, and I think they've done a good job and are very timely as far as getting their inspections, getting the permits out to you, et cetera, there. That was my comment for this evening.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Yes, Jay.
Acme Township Supervisor. I really enforce what was just said by Mr. Packard as a Township Supervisor, where we have a lot of development and a lot of work going. Whatever the decision is tonight, we need to at least make sure we can continue to do inspections and the work it's done and the work it needs to be done. The winter doesn't stop all this work for everybody. There's other work to do. So please consider that, as it does affect the growth of the region, the builders, the people doing the work out here. We've got a lot of tradesmen and a lot of people employed today because we have growth throughout the county. The second thing is, in the last meeting there was some discussion about the amount of money. Builders don't want to pay more, but let me tell you, you ought to look at the rate structure you have. If you're providing a service that needs to have rates changed, and I don't know when they were last put in place, so I might be speaking not completely with the knowledge of when that was done the last time. But please look at the rates and make sure they're appropriate for the work being done, because that's true for all of us. We have to change our rates based on the cost of doing business. So please consider those facts tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to have public comment? Seeing no indication, we will close public comment. We will move on to the approval of the agenda, and all I would ask the board to do is, we have an update from Chris Kramer on appointments, and that's under 9A, item 1, appointment recommendation update. If we could use that in that section, as well as the opinion from our civil counsel, Chris, on the vote for the road commission appointment that did not meet the state statute of 4 members elected and serving. So we would have to discuss how we want to fill that spot, and we can get into a recommendation at that time. So if we can add these 2 items within that subject matter of 1A, that would be much appreciated. Other than that, I don't have any additions. Do you have any additions, Dave? Okay. We need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve as amended.
Okay. Motion to approve the agenda with the understanding of adding these 2 items under appointments. Second by Commissioner Lathrop. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes. All right, we have an agenda. Now we move on to the consent calendar. If the clerk could read the consent calendar, please.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one commission motion without discussion. Any member of the commission staff or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted, receive and file or approval, is approved by a single committee action adopting the consent calendar. Receive and file. Number 1, Resource Recovery Manager's Report. Number 2, Road Commission Monthly Report. There is nothing under approvals.
Okay, that is the consent calendar. Does any member of the public wish to pull any item listed under the consent calendar for further discussion? Okay, all right, we will do that. Mark? Anyone else? Seeing none, does any commissioner wish to pull an item off the consent calendar?
I'm going to destroy your consent calendar.
You have A then, huh? A1?
Yeah, I'm taking number 1 off.
All right, that's her.
I have a question.
Okay. So we have nothing to approve on the consent calendar. It's been pulled, so we will move off the consent calendar and move on to special orders of business. And we have a public hearing on the Boardman Lake Avenue Amendment Brownfield Plan. And Jean, are you going to handle that, or, okay? You have the floor.
Good evening. My name is Jean Dorenzi, the Deputy Director of the Planning and Development Department. The amended Brownfield Plan relates to the increased cost relative to the environmental remediation or due care activities for the complete build-out of the Boardman Lake Avenue Pathway Trail System Brownfield Plan. The environmental costs are $408,000. All other conditions of the Brownfield Plan will remain in place, including the end date, which is 2030. The vapor barrier is a due care activity, and it is required in order to develop the land. As identified within my packet, this plan was originally adopted in 2000. It was amended in 2001, 2010, and now in 2014. The other components, the public infrastructure components, relate to the trail to complete the loop around Boardman Lake, the relocation of the railroad turnaround, or otherwise known as the Railroad Y, and also Boardman Lake Avenue. The Brownfield Authority approved the amended Brownfield Plan at their September meeting. The City Commission concurred with the amended plan at their December 1st meeting. And the recommendation is to approve the amendment.
Okay, thank you for that overview. Now we will open up the public hearing. Does any member of the public wish to speak on this matter? Seeing no indication, we will close the public hearing, and we will move to approve that resolution that is in the packet. Moved by Commissioner Rennie.
Support.
Seconded by Commissioner Thomas. There's a resolution in the packet called Approval of Amended Brownfield Plan, Boardman Lake Avenue Pathway for Trail System. Any discussion on the motion? Commissioner Wheelock.
Gene, does this mean that the city is prepared to move forward with this project, or we're still pushing paper back and forth on the desk?
They have completed part of the trail that goes up to, I believe, 14th Street. We're looking at options of completing it by South Airport Road to complete the loop. And there's a study session in February to look at priorities relative to the relocation of the Y and where they are with Boardman Lake Avenue. So they are moving forward with components, but it's also looking at the budget, on what's in the budget, and also the relocation of the Y. That's going to be an important component.
Well, because as you and I both know, the Grand Traverse County Land Bank holds a sizable parcel of property that was purchased for the construction and relocation of that Y.
That'll be part of the discussion at their study session.
Now, at the city's request, we purchased the property. And, you know, we have it, it's our money tied up. So until such time as they move forward one way or the other, you know, we're sitting on this piece of land.
Okay, any other questions on the motion? Commissioner Lemkool?
Yeah, on your map, Gene, I don't think you got a copy of it, or do you? I don't understand the highlighted area along the train. Is that the area you're looking at? And then there's an oval circle on that, and this map really doesn't do justice on what we have. And I just wondered if you could explain that.
The brownfield, the area, what that oval circle was, is basically where the new development's going to be.
Okay,
So
so
that,
that's the area for the brownfield?
that's the area that we're talking about now that needs the increased environmental cost to it.
Okay.
So because of that new development, and that's actually the last build-out of the private build-out for this brownfield plan.
And then there's a rectangle just to the west of that.
That's just another component of the overall development, the trail component as well.
Okay. I just, for people to understand that this map really is not a good map for us to be able to show, because it doesn't really explain what that area is and how it does, so.
Just the area of the development that
Okay.
it
The long
relates
oval
to
piece.
the amendment.
Okay, all right.
Commissioner Max Bauer?
Gene, aren't there some monitoring wells in that area?
There are monitoring wells related to the Cone Drive and DEQ agreement that they have on the cleanup.
Okay, and how does this this proposed development affect those monitoring wells?
It will not.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Thank you, Jean. We will now move on to items that have been removed from the consent calendar. The first one is under Receive and File, Resource Recovery Managers Report. Commissioner Lemkool?
Yeah, my question is on the Christmas tree recycling, that it only seems to be for city residents, and I'm wondering if, I know Cherryland Electric at one time offered that, and I didn't know if you were looking at, the south, the north, and west of the county to be able to have some sort of, because we don't stop at the city limits where we don't have Christmas trees. So I just
Sure.
wondered if anything's being done in that.
Susie Shipman, Resource Recovery Manager. I'll look into that, and I know that we discussed this in the department last year. I think the outcome basically was that, not sure if I really want to say this, but they're not checking IDs to see who's dropping off. It's not really a staffed site. It's a service that benefits them in terms of getting those chips for the trails, nice clean chips from Christmas trees, as long as people remove their ornamentation. But that's just not really a policy that they have stated, but it's not a manned site out there, so.
And I just wondered about,
When people call me, I encourage them to take their material there.
but Cherryland Electric has always done that out in Groton, so I don't know if they're going to continue doing that. So if you could find out
I
and
will.
let the community know if they're going to be doing that, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet. And if the board wouldn't mind, I'd also like to mention that we are going to open the Keystone Brush site on Friday, Saturday, and Tuesday next week between 11 and 1, so that people with all the leaves that were covered by the snow will have a chance to bring some material by, and also that they can call our office. We're only 5 minutes away, so we'd be happy to accommodate people. So that's what we're doing. You should see that in the media tomorrow and hear it on the radio, so. All right.
The other question I have is on cooking oil. A lot of us cooked turkeys in our cooking oil and then couldn't find any place to get rid of the cooking oil. So I did talk to Kim, and he did say that Bay Area Recycling
that's
is
just what I was
taking
going
it.
to say.
So, those that have that cooking oil sitting in their garage from the turkey, apparently they are taking it, so that's a good thing. And I just wanted to say thanks for Kim's responsiveness in getting the information back and forth to me.
Yes, yeah, that's a real benefit of
Yep.
our hotline. So, and Bay Area Recycling for Charities is certainly doing a lot of innovative things
Yeah.
in the recent years, so.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Lemkool, seconded by Commissioner Rennie. Discussion, Commissioner Wheelock.
The one point, I think, of the report, the biggest highlight to me is the fact that we collected 119,087 pounds of hazardous material in Grand Traverse County this year. The county on behalf, or the staff on behalf of our household hazardous waste collection, almost 120,000 pounds of material was collected that God knows where it would have been. It would have been in a landfill, it had been dumped alongside the road, it would have been buried in somebody's backyard. But it was collected and it was properly disposed of because of the programs operated by Grand Traverse County. That is the highlight of this manager's report.
Okay.
And all their licenses are up.
All right, anyone else? Commissioner Rennie?
I'd like to find out or ask a question as to how you determine this average cost per customer.
Sure. After the collections, we get our invoicing from our contractor. What we do is we submit for reimbursement on the Clean Sweep grant on the pesticides and the mercury products. And so this total, the total cost of $38,362, that's based on the number of residents, small businesses, et cetera, that show up. So it's basically, we had 814 residents and 49 small businesses, and that's the average cost. And I actually wish I'd followed up by saying that that's not a cost obviously borne by customers. This is paid for with the funding from our landfill tipping fees directly. So, and the other thing that I would like to point out is that while I didn't report the numbers here, we had an incredible influx of donations at all of these events, higher than what I've seen in the recent years in the budget that have been collected. So people are very, very thrilled to be able to do this.
Those totals at some point in time?
Sure. Yeah, I was going to do a more complete report with all the information.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
All right, anything else on the motion to receive and file? All right, we have a motion to receive and file the Resource Recovery Management Report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Did you have something on that, Dr. Dan?
No, I was behind the eight ball. I thought you wanted a motion.
No, we already have a motion. That's okay. Second item that got pulled from the consent calendar is under receive and file, item number 2, Road Commission monthly report by the Road Commission. Welcome, come on up. Get yourself introduced.
Good evening, Jim Cook, Grand Traverse County Road Commission, and I just wanted to touch on 3 important things on our report. One was last month we had the public hearing and our board did approve our 2015 budget. It's a balanced budget, and so we're looking forward to 2015 with $9 million worth of projects proposed. The next thing is the Lafreniere Road project. Our board just passed a resolution to start the process for acquiring some temporary construction easements along the hill, and so that project will actually be bidding here. We're going to start the process here in the next week, and we'll be getting bids back in about a month, and then construction's slated for early spring with completion in August. And then lastly, I think our commissioners will want to talk about Dave Taylor, who's one of our commissioners, and he is going off the board at the end of this month after 6 years of service. And I want to publicly thank him for his service and for what he started with 6 years ago. And the changes that you've seen us make and the progress that we're making today is based on a lot of his initiative early on. So again, thank you, and I think Mark will talk more.
Thank you. Mark McKellar, Chairman of the Road Commission Board. I'd like to invite up our board members with Mr. Taylor, and we're going to embarrass Dave just a little bit this evening. 6 years ago, about this time, I stood in this room and went through the interview process, and Mr. Taylor was one of those applicants that I interviewed with as well. And Mr. Taylor was nominated for the position, and I am very thankful he was at the time. And serving the last 4 years on the Road Commission with Mr. Taylor has been a pleasure. He's held my feet to the fire many times. We didn't agree on many things. A lot of people said that Dave and I were of the lockstep. Well, I can assure you that wasn't true, okay? But we become friends. I just wanted to publicly acknowledge David's service to the residents of this community. He's passionate. I'm sorry to see him go. I think he did a lot for a community, and I wanted opportunity for you all to be able to say something to him this evening, as well as our boards to acknowledge him as well. Thank you.
Good job.
Talk to us, Dave. I just want to say it's been an honor to serve Grand Traverse County. It's the hardest job I've ever had. I was very passionate about the job. I think we got a lot done. We're reorganized. And I thank you for the appointment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could ask the board, if it's possible, if we can do a resolution of appreciation on behalf of Dave Taylor for
We'll have a whole
the,
list of them at the end of the month.
Yeah.
at the end of the month? Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that.
All right. Okay.
We've got a bunch of them.
Great.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the road commission report.
Okay. Good.
Support
Okay, the motion was?
to approve the
to
road
accept the
commission
road
report.
commission.
Okay, and the second?
It was me.
Was you? Okay.
All right.
Moved and seconded to approve the road commission report. Discussion? I have one item. Not that I need you to come up to the podium, just to let you know that Whitewater Township is having a meeting at 9 o'clock on Friday, this coming Friday, to talk about Baggs Road, and they're trying to get all the partners together of the townships and the county, both Calcutta and Grand Traverse. So if you could have a representative possibly attend that meeting, it would be much appreciated. That would be helpful. Okay. Okay, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. All right, that takes care of the items removed from the consent calendar. There are, under number 9, department action items, we have the appointment recommendations and updates, and you have that on your desk dated December 10th. It's the first item that I want to deal with. And that's from Chris Kramer, and she's asking for confirmation of the Traverse City appointments of November 10th for the Board of Public Works. If I could get some clarification on this, Dave or Dean, confirmation of City of Traverse City appointments on November 10th. Is she looking for us to appoint city members? If you can explain this to us.
I was there.
All right, somebody can explain this to us.
Can I help you?
Yes.
Okay. The City of Traverse City makes appointments that must be approved by the county board.
Okay.
These are appointments that need to be approved by the county board.
These are members?
These are the city commissioners' recommendations, and yes, Commissioner Werner is a city commissioner. Jim Carruthers is also a city commissioner. Janine Easterday is a city commissioner, and Ross Richardson is a city
So
commissioner.
these are appointments on county boards
that are
city
recommended by the
the
city
city
of Traverse City.
for those appointments.
So would you like me to
Okay.
make a motion?
Yes.
I would move to confirm the City of Traverse City's recommendations for the following. The Board of Public Works to appoint Commissioner Tim Werner for the calendar year 2015, to appoint Commissioner Jim Carruthers for a 3-year term on the Resource Recovery Council from 1/1/15 through 12/31/17. Commissioner Janine Easterday to the Next Michigan Board through 11/9 of 2015, and to appoint Commissioner Ross Richardson and City-at-Large resident Scott Joseph to 3-year terms on the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, terms from January 1, 2015 through December 31st, 2017.
Sir, okay, that's moved. Is it seconded? Seconded by Commissioner Rennie, to approve the confirmations of the City of Traverse City appointments as outlined in the memo and by Commissioner Max Bauer. Is there discussion? Commissioner Wheelock.
The discussion that I would have is a discussion I've had before, and probably we should have again, and that is in regard to the Resource Recovery Council. Based on what we have in front of us, there are currently 4 vacancies that are up for appointment. with the city representative, the conservation district representative, and the county commission. I thought I counted 4. Oh, yeah, plus, all right, so there'll be 3, counting the county commissioner representative that will be up January 1st, too, with a new city representative, or county representative. I've sat on that board for a long time. I must say well over 10 years now. There was a time that we ran our own programs and those kind of things, and we needed an oversight board. I believe we're past that. We are at a department of 2 people. We encourage recycling. We no longer do recycling ourselves other than the household hazardous waste. I would like to see this citizen board, advisory board, whatever you want to call it, to disperse and simply have the Resource Recovery Department answer to the County Board of Administrators, and the department head to answer to the county administrator for oversight.
My reaction is I'm not opposed to doing that, but I think that we should give notice to the members and organizations that are represented on that council and put that as an agenda item at our next meeting, and then have that discussion with them along with staff. And so we give some sort of notice on that type of discussion and then move forward from there.
Can I ask the motion maker and second to eliminate the appointment to Resource Recovery?
Or just hold on.
Hold on it till that one item?
Yes, I would be
Motion
happy
maker
to
and second.
amend my motion to
Just to
pull
hold.
the Resource Recovery Council recommendation of Jim Carruthers.
And can we place that on Ways and Means, please? All right. Motion maker and second agree with that? Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. All right, now we have other county appointments under the Planning Commission. There appears to be some discussion with John Syke about restructuring that Planning Commission, and they are recommending that we extend the term of Sarnia Salzman and Peter Elbers through March 31st, 2015 on the Grand Traverse County Planning Commission until they come back to the new board with a recommendation of how they want the Planning Commission to be structured.
Motion to approve.
So that would be a motion to just make that appointment just for that 3-month period.
So
Moved by
moved.
Rennie, seconded by Wheelock, to appoint Sarah Salzman and Peter Albers through March 31st, 2015 on the Planning Commission. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes. Under Resource Recovery, I think we just, why don't we just, we're going to hold on that.
And I did count 4 because there's one citizen appointment that was also vacant.
So we'll put that line item and refer that over to Ways and Means with that previous motion. Farmland Preservation Board.
Motion to appoint Steve Largent to fill the Conservation District vacancy created by Wendy Warren, remainder of the 3-year term to 6/30/17.
Support.
Okay. Moved by Lemkool, seconded by Wheelock. Okay. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes. The Board of Public Works. We appoint Chuck Korn from Garfield Township, Jack Kelly from Elmwood Township, Jay Zollinger from Acme Township, Pete Correa from Peninsula Township, and Glenn Lyle from East Bay Township to a 2-year term ending 12/31/2016.
Motion
So
to,
moved.
Moved by Lathrop, seconded by Rennie.
okay.
To make that appointment. Discussion? Appointments. Any discussion? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes. All right. The next item under that same category of A is the legal opinion that you have on the desk from Chris Forsythe, indicating that under MCL 224.6, that in order to make an appointment by the Board of Commissioners to the Road Commission, there actually is a separate statute there. I've spoken with Chris. It does take, by statute, does require a majority of elected and serving, that's 4 votes out of 7 to appoint a road commissioner to that, to appoint a person to the Road Commission. So the previous interview and motion for Mark McKellar would stand because he had 5 votes. The vote for Corey Nielsen, who had a 3-2 vote, would not stand. And my recommendation to the board is to, one consideration I think would be the best way to do it, to be honest with you, is to re-advertise if we've got time, set up appointments, and open it up again to the public, along with the people that have interviewed for the position, including Corey, and select a date where all of us can get in here and do this interview for the second position on the Road Commission before the Board of Commissioners meeting on Tuesday, the 23rd.
Not during the day.
So we could come in on the afternoon of Ways and Means or something like that.
There's no reason we have to do this. Chris, first, is there a reason, do we need a motion to reconsider?
No,
No.
no, you don't, because it's, the prior vote was non-compliance with the statute, so it's just void.
Mr. Chairman, I believe we interviewed 6 people. We interviewed 6, I think it was 5, and then we added Pete Zernill.
Yep.
We interviewed 6 people. I guess I would be prepared to make a motion to, or if commissioners are acceptable, that we just simply make a motion based on the interviews. Did the non-present members have an opportunity to review the interviews?
I'm sorry.
Were they videotaped?
No.
No. But you had the criteria, or you
I
had
did.
the application.
Yeah.
I guess
That's the only
the
thing.
question has to come with how the non-present members have. As
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned, I'm willing to make a motion based on the people that I interviewed. The commissioners
Yeah.
that were not there, what do they want to do?
Yeah, I wanted to lean towards their ability to see and have interviews if we're going to, if indeed we can't make that appointment as indicated.
Well, we
I'd like to see
simply
the- I'd like to see-
we can't advertise an interview, advertise and take applications again. We could ask those 6 people that came in and interviewed
To come back and
to come
interview.
back in and do an interview again, but there's no way we can,
Have
in a
enough time.
time frame that you're outlining, get it done before the end of the month.
Yeah, it would be difficult. So let's get some input from the 2 people that were not here, Commissioner Lathrop and then Commissioner Max Bauer.
Okay, you're asking whether I'm willing to make a decision? Or
What is
were you
your
asking-
recommendation? You weren't here.
I
Would you
wasn't
like
here.
to have the 6 candidates come in and re-interview?
Well, I don't know if this is out of order. Tell me if it is. It's going to be hard for this board to meet again and advertise it and go through all of that. I'm wondering if it wouldn't be better and fair to re-advertise, interview, including you, and let the new board handle it, because we're coming real close. I've got every night booked from now till Christmas, including singing solos at St. Joe's Church. So, it'd be tough to make this happen fairly in this short period of time.
Okay, Commissioner Max Bauer?
I agree with Commissioner Wheelock in that I don't think that there's enough time, if this is the board that wants to appoint the next road commissioner, I don't think there's enough time to advertise and have people, new candidates. I do believe there is merit in hearing the 6 candidates, since I was not there, hearing the 6 candidates again. I think there's merit in that. But I am certainly not opposed to waiting until January and let the new board interview.
Okay, Commissioner Lemkool and then Commissioner Running.
I'm going to make a motion that we appoint Corey Nielsen to the Road Commission Board.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there discussion?
So, I just think that, of all the candidates, I felt very comfortable. I think she's done a very good job in representative on the Planning Commission. She always comes prepared. She's very knowledgeable. This young lady has, from what I understand, when we interviewed her for the Planning Commission, has 2 master's degree, one in business and one in finance, if I remember correctly. And, has run a very successful company, and I will tell everybody that when you're in business, you put your business hat on. And that hat sometimes doesn't fit really well. And you have to make decisions as a businessman or woman that may not be the ones you would make as an individual. So that's why I strongly support Corey to be able to be on the road commission, because I think she's a very good candidate and would represent us very well.
Okay, other comments? Commissioner Rennie?
I do not believe this should be put to the next board as nonsense. We should bring these people back in, as suggested by Mr. Wheelock, and talk to them again. Apparently, the two people that were no-shows agree with that. But I will tell you, as a commissioner, I was very upset with this article that came out in the newspaper. If you want people to come down here and volunteer their services, do not drag them through the mud. That is nonsense, and I thought was very low class.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and seconded to appoint Corey Nielsen to the position of road commissioner. My comment is that from the viewpoint of the public and hopefully the viewpoint of this commission, this is one of the most important appointments that we make as a board. It's a 6-year program. It's not 3 years. It's not 4 years. They have a tremendous amount of responsibility, almost equal to ours. And for two commissioners to be absent during the interview process, I really felt uncomfortable about that. And now that I've been informed about the 3-2 vote being invalid, my preference, I would make the time, my preference is not to vote on it tonight, but bring the 6 candidates back in. Let's find a date and time. Let's give everybody a fair playing field again for the 2 people that were not here, and for those people that were here to ask additional questions if they wish, and set a date and time and bring them in and do the interviews. So that's why we'll be voting no on this motion. And I hope if it does not pass, then I hope somebody would make a motion that we would set a date and time to re-interview the 6 candidates. Commissioner Lathrop and Commissioner Max Bauer.
I agree with you. I'll be voting no on this because I want to do it the right way. And, I wasn't there, and if it's going to be decided, I want to have input.
All right, we got Max Bauer, Thomas, and then Rennie.
Well, I want to clarify something. I did not call the Record Eagle. When I was asked if I had concerns, which was 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I said, yes, I do. And they asked me what those concerns were, and as the newspaper accurately reported, I declined to express them except in a public meeting. So what the Record Eagle printed, they did on their own. And I will be asking about my concerns to the potential commissioner, all the potential commissioners, when we redo the interviews, which I think is the way we're leaning.
Okay, it was Commissioner Thomas and then Rennie.
Well, no matter how this vote comes out, and I'm not going to change my vote from before, however, no matter how it comes out, it's our job to have this done before the end of the year.
Right.
We shouldn't be passing it off to the new board.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think we should set a date and time.
You don't have time to do it between now and then. We got to make up our mind now.
We don't need to make up our mind now. We got Ways and Means. We can
Okay.
meet before Ways and Means.
Yeah.
So we got plenty of time. All right, so we have a motion on the floor right now to appoint Corey Nielsen. You have anything else?
Yeah, I do, and I would address this to our chairperson. We bring people before this board. We have 2 members that don't show up that then decide later they want to get involved. Why did we have that meeting?
We had a quorum, so therefore it had to be, and we'd already had the special, had all the people set up to be able to do the interviews, and so
Right.
we did.
Yeah.
I would make a request that when we're doing something special like a road commission interview, that we know the rules prior to voting. It's ridiculous.
It would have been helpful.
It would have been
We know
helpful.
that. Yep.
We have people here that are coming in here from the public, Herb.
Yep.
It would have been helpful, it would have been decent.
Well, we didn't have civil counsel with us at that meeting, so it was
Well, my
not possible.
point is, if we're going to do these kind of things, that when we come into these interviews, we should know what the hell's going on. And I don't think we did. And it's evident by the discussion here tonight.
Okay. All right, we have a motion on the floor to appoint Corey Nielsen to a 6-year term for the County Road Commission. I won't be voting for it. I'll be voting for new interviews, but let's do a roll call vote, please.
Can I clarify, who seconded it? Rennie?
Yes.
Yeah, it was moved by Lemko, seconded by Rennie.
Okay. Commissioner Rennie?
Yes.
Max Bauer?
No.
Lemko?
Yes.
Lathrop?
No.
Wheelock?
No.
Thomas?
No.
What was that?
No.
Inman?
Thomas? No. Okay, can we have a motion to re-interview?
I will so move.
Okay, moved by Rennie, seconded by Lathrop, to interview, and then we'll set the date if this passes, the 6 candidates that applied. Other than Mark, was Mark part of the 6?
Yes.
You don't have to re-interview. You're all set. The 5 candidates. Okay,
Can we do it before Ways and Means?
that's what I'm thinking.
3 o'clock?
Well, let's decide that after the motion. All right, so we have a motion on the floor to re-interview the remaining candidates that had applied other than Mark McKellar. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Max Bauer?
Yes.
Lemko?
No.
Lathrop?
Yes.
Wheelock?
Yes.
Thomas?
Nope.
Rennie?
No.
Inman?
Yes, motion passes. Okay, let's look at our calendar.
Did what?
The 17th before Ways and Means.
That's where I'd like to do it.
We're going to be here anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we do this on the 17th before the Ways and Means meeting.
You want to do it at 3 o'clock or 3:30?
3:30.
3:30.
Okay.
3:30 on December 17th.
That's a Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Great.
Yeah. So we have a motion on the floor. So who made the motion? Rennie, seconded by
Lathrop?
Lathrop, to have the meeting for the re-interviews of the applicants other than Mark McKellar on December 17th at 3:30 PM. So we would send them an invitation letter by administration if they're still interested to come to the meeting and to be interviewed for that spot. So we are, all in favor of the 3:30 time on December 17th, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah.
Roll call vote, please.
Lemko?
Nope.
Lathrop?
Yes.
Wheelock?
Yes.
Thomas?
No.
Rennie?
Yes.
Max Bauer?
Yes.
Inman?
Yes, motion passes. So we'll have, Bonnie, if you could post that as a special board of directors meeting, or county board of commission meeting, so at the end of that time, then the recommendation would stand and not go to the end of the month. Is that acceptable to the board? Okay.
Thank you, Larry.
All right. That concludes appointment recommendations. Now we can move on to the administrator's report, which you all got by email. Some of you got copies of it here at the meeting. Any, Dave, do you want to highlight anything, and then we go to questions?
I'm just wanted to highlight that we are right in the process of reviewing the property and liability proposals. Those will be coming to the board at Ways and Means. And there's not a lot on here that you don't already know about, so I don't know if I want to spend a lot of time going through these things. Oh, I'm sorry. Apparently can't hear me. I just wanted to point out that there's some information from 911 on Smart 911. You had some folks come in here last week and talk about that. They are right now looking at equipment and how they're going to purchase equipment. Their telephone system is tops on their list, so they're looking to do that first. And I kind of wanted to point out that now our medical examiner contract, Tri-County medical examiner contract, is now fully executed. And I also wanted to point out that our health department is working very hard. The nurses in the health department are to be commended for the amount of time they're putting in to try and deal with not only being ready for the Ebola virus, should that come to our community, but also with pertussis and now measles. So there are three things they're trying to get prepared for in our community, and they're spending a lot of time, just dedicated public servants doing a great job. So I just wanted you to be aware of that.
Dave, on the dispatch on the phone system, they're not tied in with our county phone system? It's a separate system?
It's a special system.
Special system.
It's enhanced 911. It also has CAD and interfaces that.
Because some people had asked, why aren't we looking at the whole county system instead of just piecemeal it? But if it's special equipment, then that's explains it.
Yeah, it's special equipment.
Okay.
Any other questions on the administrator's report? Commissioner Rennie.
Make a motion to receive and file the administrator's report.
A motion to receive and file by Commissioner Rennie. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Lathrop. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes. Thank you. That concludes administration. We have an item under number 10, unfinished business, soil erosion inspectors. And I would ask if Chris has some updated communication information that on top of the memo that's in the file or in your packet. I guess now would be the appropriate time for him to make some remarks on this, and then we will take public comment.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I'll take her comment after this report.
Bob Cooney, over the last few days, has had several email exchanges with Sarah Earing, who's in charge of DEQ's soil erosion program, and he asked her basically to give DEQ's input and ideas as to the idea of contracting out the soil erosion program. And she did give some detailed responses to Bob in emails earlier this week. And I'll go over briefly just some of the points that she raised, and that is, first, there's nothing wrong with the county to privatize or contract out its inspections, but the county cannot completely contract out the soil erosion program function. That it's a county function that we are responsible to administer and enforce under Part 91 of the state's natural resources environmental protection laws. If the county was to not fulfill its function and not administer and enforce Part 91, then DEQ would come in, they would do the enforcement, but then charge the county the cost of that plus a 10% administrative fee. So that's just one point to bring up. But it's all right to contract out the inspectors, as long as that the county has a supervisor, and that supervisor has certain qualifications that are up to DEQ, that they provide guidelines on what type of comprehensive training is required. One way it's required is a 4 to 6 week, take a comprehensive self-study test. And then after you go through the training, there's a certification process. The other point that Sarah made in her emails to Bob was that, in her opinion, the timeline, the talked about timeline of contracting out the inspection process and laying off the current inspectors on December 31st, that was too quick of a timeline for the DEQ, that they wanted to make sure that the county put together very detailed RFPs, make sure that the certification and the training is done for whoever is getting the work. And so she thought a more reasonable timeline would be February or March to have that in place. And certainly we still need going back to my first point, under Part 91, we need to have that function in place. In other words, there can't be a gap in time. Between now and whenever our RFPs are put together and the work is bid out. So again, Bob Cooney did exchange some emails. I know Bruce Ramey was CC'd on some of them. I know Dave Benda was also included in some of the emails. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
I just, if I can just take a moment. Corey, you had your hand up. Is that did you have a public comment regarding this item or this particular item? All right, after I have the board discussion, then I will call on you. Okay. Commissioner Lemkool, and then...
I believe that I was one of those that voted in favor of that, and I would like to rescind my vote. I make a motion to re-vote this motion.
Okay. Since that is not on the agenda, it would require a 2/3 vote to add it onto the agenda.
But it's on the agenda because of the soil conservation, or soil water, so therefore it should be able to be voted on, because it's on the agenda.
I think it's the nature of the motion. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I think what's on the agenda, just looking at the agenda,
is just a report on
well,
the inspection.
it is called, it's under unfinished business, and it's just called soil erosion inspectors. Is how it is on the agenda.
So given the nature of his his motion, would that require an item to be placed new on the agenda?
You know, I don't have a problem if the, just thinking about reconsideration, I wouldn't have a problem either way, how you want to handle it. I don't think a motion for reconsideration is totally out of order either. So I'll leave it up to the board.
I think Commissioner Lemkool said rescind, not reconsider.
Motion to reconsider.
Motion to reconsider.
And it takes two motions. One to reconsider, and if that passes, then...
He said he
Yeah.
would rescind his vote.
I'm sorry.
so
To me,
Consider my vote.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that we're talking about a reconsideration.
unless I'm overruled by the board, then I would consider that a new agenda item, and it would require a 2/3 vote unless you overrule me. Anybody want to make a motion to overrule the chair?
Well, I don't have a support on that motion anyway. Do I have to have a support?
Well, I can't support it, I sure would, but I voted against it before.
Yeah.
I think any motion to reconsider takes 2/3 vote.
And it takes a 2/3 vote.
Right.
So you're going to have to...
And it takes 2/3 to put it on the agenda.
Reconsider doesn't. Reconsider in itself does not. It's majority under Robert's rules.
That's true, but it takes 2/3 to get it on the agenda.
Right.
Add it to today's agenda, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Just for the fun of it, why don't somebody that voted for it support the motion?
I'll support for discussion.
Okay, so we
You guys
have...
were both yes votes, is that correct?
So you're
I'm
wanting to add it to the agenda?
And he's just vote, he's
My
just made a
vote was
motion to
to-
reconsider the vote.
reconsider
The
vote.
chair has, here we go, Robert's
Well,
rules.
here's where we're at, as far as I understand. The chair makes the determination, and if the board disagrees with the determination, it has to make a vote to override the determination, to add it as a new agenda item.
Okay, well then I'll make a motion to place it on the agenda.
Okay? So we have a motion to place that item on the agenda. Is there a second?
Wait a minute,
That should,
we had a motion on the floor.
Well, we just pulled that motion.
I didn't hear him pull it.
He just
I've
verbally...
been
What's the
overruled.
motion now?
I've been overruled and said I couldn't make that motion, so,
I think he's wrong, but
yeah, I know.
Well, you'd have
what's your
to...
motion now?
To put it on the agenda.
Okay? Is there a second?
Sure.
Okay, second. So the motion is to put the issue for a motion to reconsider the vote that was taken on the soil erosion inspectors. That is,
that's right.
it's a motion to reconsider. So that will take
No, it's a motion to put it on the agenda.
Oh, motion to put on the agenda, I'm sorry. You're correct. And there's a second, so it'll take 2/3, that means 5 votes.
Does that mean today's agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So Commissioner Wheelock.
Chris, I'm just asking, Is this the proper way to handle this, or should we have just simply voted on the motion to reconsider?
You know, it's a close call. I mean, the topic is on the agenda, but the very specific idea of rescinding or reconsidering, or however else you want to word it,
That's why I'm doing it.
that was not on the agenda.
That's why I'm, declaring it as a new agenda item. So, we have a motion on the floor to put it on the agenda. It takes 2/3, that's 5 votes, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so we have a roll call vote on the motion, please.
Any discussion?
Discussion.
I would like to say that this is another area where this was dumped on the board the day of the meeting without adequate investigation, due diligence, whatever you have to call it. Did we have legal counsel at that meeting?
Yeah, it was a budget meeting.
Okay, was there legal counsel there?
No.
So there was no reason to have legal counsel there? Is that what you're saying?
Generally, they don't attend budget meetings.
Okay, so then should this motion have come up at the budget meeting?
Well, it was a budget cut.
Now, I voted against this because I knew it would get into this delay of getting people their permits.
Right.
This county cannot afford any hole in that. That's the only revenue we have.
Right.
This was, again, something that was brought on to this board in a very unprofessional fashion.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the concern of the DEQ, and we'll have to address that.
I mean, I don't understand when we can make these important votes and we don't know the damn rules.
I think we understand the rules.
Oh, really?
So, we have a motion to add this item on the agenda. Takes 5 votes. Roll call vote, please.
Lathrop,
No.
Wheelock,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yep.
Rennie,
Yeah.
Max Bauer,
No.
Lemko,
Yes.
Inman.
No. Motion passes. We place it on the agenda.
No, it doesn't
No,
pass.
there's only 4.
Doesn't
There's
pass.
4 of us.
We need 2/3?
You're right. Okay. I don't understand the rules. Thank you.
So putting stuff in my ear then.
Yes. Gotcha. Okay, so that does not pass. Commissioner Lathrop.
I make a motion that we do extend the implementation of outsourcing inspectors until the end of February. Give the staff ample time to put this together.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor.
Support.
Seconded. Discussion? Commissioner Wheelock.
I guess, I would prefer, and if it comes down to it, I may support this. I'll have to think about it a little bit, but I would prefer that the motion just simply be that no contracting of services will be, or no playing off of the current system will happen until such time as a new system is in place. I don't know that February
friendly to
1st
that.
is the right day or whatever it is, but under no circumstances should we be without a system in place
I would agree.
for
Absolutely.
people to get plan reviews, permits, and inspections.
Get things in and make sure we
So
have.
I don't believe that I will support this with a date on it, but I will support the idea that we will not remove the existing system until a new system is properly in place.
Can I do a friendly amendment?
Yes, yes.
I do so.
All right.
And I agree with that. I think we
Second,
should
agree with
have-
that?
Yes.
That
Yes.
the motion on the floor is to move forward with the recommended changes, but we will not implement those changes until there's adequate time to train and have these people available
And in
for
place.
inspections.
Yes.
Okay, discussion, Commissioner Lathrop.
I got on DEQ and looked up the numbers of people that have this comprehensive certification in soil erosion, and in a 3-county area, there's 84 people. So I'm fairly confident we're going to get some good applications.
Okay. Okay, before we vote, we have a motion on the floor. Well, if there's an indication for anyone that wants to speak on this, I think Corey did, you're welcome to speak at this time. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Corey Nielsen, 3800 Cedar Lake Road, Traverse City. I also hope that you agree with the construction code director and retain the current soil erosion personnel until new personnel are hired, allowing permit issuance to grind to a halt would be a gross negligence to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Come on up, Nick.
My name's Nick Augustinelli, 1645 Lake Drive, beautiful Garfield Township, Michigan. I am opposed to seeing the soil erosion being farmed out. I'm a general contractor. I have many projects going at this time. I have a wonderful working relationship with soil erosion. I don't agree with everything they say, but I do what they say. To change right now and throw the baby out with the bathwater just because of one issue, after we've had the wettest fall on record, was, it's just uncontrollable with what went out there if you have any experience in the field. Every now and then you do have an issue. We've had one issue that I'm aware of. Why change? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on the motion on the floor? Yes, Jay.
Jay Zollinger, Acme Township. As you consider this motion, I think Christopher's comment from the DEQ is very important, the oversight. Don't forget that. It's not just contracting out, but oversight. You got to manage that in the county. Whoever that is, however that is. I don't want to get into that, but that is an important issue. We have people that can do it, have done it well, they continue to do it well. So I do support what we have today, but consider that DEQ requirement. That's very important as this goes forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Ken Pedersen, 603 Bay Street, attorney with Smith & Johnson. I represent VGT, the owner of the property. I consider not saying anything, but I think it's important for the board to have some background as you go forward and decide what to do. Certainly, the owner of the property and the developer doesn't always agree with soil and erosion. Contrary to some things that have been read into the record at the last meeting, the DEQ letter, soil and erosion has undertaken enforcement action out at that site, cited the owner, made recommendations which have been implemented. DEQ as well, we've been involved with them and are involved in that process. Extraordinary, what I would call heroic measures have been taken, given the site conditions out there, to manage that site. And we don't necessarily concede or agree with soil and erosion's findings at any time or the DEQ. That said, it's important that this county have somebody beyond January 1st to be a contact for that. Somebody that's responsible, somebody that's used to working with the DEQ. It's somewhat disturbing that the direction of the reviews of the property, if you will, are being undertaken by a drain commissioner who has no role, by a commissioner who has no role in that, a private citizen that they have been working with to undertake site inspections. In short, we have trespass going on a site, which is in part impacting the degradation of the site. People refusing to sign in at the site as required for protocol. There's liability issues out there. And that's not an acceptable way to undertake inspections. At least with the existing soil and erosion department personnel are undertaking their responsibility in an orderly manner, whether we agree with it or not. And I think it's important that you keep that in mind in making a final determination as to what you're going to do with this site long term. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're still under public comment. Any other public comment on the motion on the floor? Seeing none, we'll come back. We still have a motion on the floor. We have more public or more commissioner comment. Let's go with Thomas, and Lathrop, Lemkool, and Rennie.
I think the board is just in the process of making the biggest mistake that I've ever seen made on this. For one thing, I don't, a bit bad about privatizing an enforcement portion of the county business. What are we going to do, deputize this guy? You're going to have to. because he's just a private citizen. He can't enforce the law.
Okay, Commissioner Lathrop.
There's no way you can do it. I just think it's a big mistake.
Okay, Commissioner Lathrop.
Couple things. This came about because the commissioners were asked to come up with ideas to try to serve our public in a good way and yet save some money. We were all asked to come up with ideas, and I came up with several. I looked at the fact that things get smaller, much smaller in the winter, and I looked at various numbers of facts and figured that this would be a good opportunity to privatize, and it's done all over the nation, and it's done in this state. It's the primary purpose is to give an excellent service at the right time and give our citizens value and not have to pay overpay for these services. I want you to know that I am a developer too. I'm nothing compared to you guys, but I'm pro-development. I've developed over 20 properties since I've been here in Traverse City, and I still am doing that. I want to see the that development go on. I think it's great for the community. I think we need it. This is a financial issue and an issue of value to our customers who are taxpayers. So we've come up with a motion to, and passed it, to privatize or to contract this out. Now, I'm under the impression that in the building department, they have some inspectors who are already privately contracted, and they use their own cars. They can walk into the building, get their orders, go out and do their inspections. They get paid for it. They give the information to the office specialist in Bruce's office. So this is already happening in the building code department. So it's nothing new. It's nothing new in the state, and it's nothing new in code department, I don't think. The other thing is, I want to make it clear that the Drain Commissioner is not going to be seeking any of these positions, nor did he ever think he was going to, and was never my intention either. My intention is to save money for our citizens while providing as the same service or maybe better. So now we have a situation where we've said, yeah, we've got a motion on the floor. We say, yeah, cool. Let's give our staff the time to develop this program and get qualified people who are giving us bids and see if we can provide this same service without interruption to qualified people in a timely manner.
Okay, Commissioner Lipko.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I can vote on this situation because I don't agree that, I really want to reconsider my vote. I would really like to see this put on the agenda for next week then, so that I can reconsider my vote on this particular issue, so that we don't eliminate this. I think we're creating a Pandora's box, especially not knowing about Section 91. I think that we did not have enough information when we voted on that to make that happen. I think we're really creating a huge issue. And we've got fabulous staff out there that are doing a fabulous job. Now, do I agree with every issue? I've gotten 2 phone calls from people who say, we love what they're doing. And I've gotten 2 phone calls from people going, why did they even think about issuing a permit because my property is flooded because the developer next door to me created such a problem that I now cannot use my house. I have a flooded basement. The road commission is negotiating with me because they flooded part of their area. This is out on the peninsula. Somebody else from Long Lake. So I can't say that they're always right, but I think that's one of those things that no matter what you do, you may make a mistake. A developer may make a mistake, and they're the ones responsible for cleaning it up. And I understand the one on the peninsula is cleaning it up. They are taking the responsibility to make sure that that's being taken care of. The other issue that I really had a problem with when I read in the paper, that people were not, the commissioners were not notified that there was a DEQ violation. On October 22nd, Dave Benda got an email from Bruce Ramai stating that the DEQ has issued a violation notice to the owners of the village of Grand Traverse for the unlawful discharge of soils in a construction site on either the wetlands or Acme Creek. That went out to all commissioners. I have a copy of it here. But it also says that they have hired Horizon Environmental Consultants to make sure that everybody understands what's going on. You all got this copy. It's in your emails. And I have a problem when somebody brings out that says, I didn't know anything about this. And somebody dropped it on our desk last week and said, here you are, we didn't get notified. Bulletin for you guys, October 22nd you did. You did get notified, it's right
The
here.
letter was dated November 3rd.
November 3rd, but there was also, that was the second one.
Okay.
So there was two violations given out there, but the first one, everybody here knew about it. Everybody got that message.
Yeah, I think the issue was there was more detail in the letter that we were unaware of. So.
Yeah, but anyway, I just think that we're making a huge mistake in on trying to make this happen, so I'm not sure I can vote for this.
All right. Well, let's go to Commissioner Rennie.
Again, getting back to this, I applaud Dan for looking at this more reasonably. No one said, Herb, that this got dropped on us, but it did.
It did.
Period. We had a personal attack on a department manager during the meeting. I thought that was wrong. So don't say that we were informed that this was going to be on the agenda that night. I mean, there's two different things here. This was dropped on us. Due diligence was not done, or we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it now. We cannot afford to shut down construction code offices and soil erosion. It's going to cost the county dearly. This should be put on hold until you come back with a plausible plan, approve that plan, and go from there. Until then, leave this thing in place.
And I think that's the motion.
No, it
I'm
isn't.
trying to figure it out.
That's not the motion.
The motion is we're not going to change anything until we
We
go
have a
out for
plan in
bids,
place.
they're trained, qualified, and you got the people to go.
I'm saying we shouldn't be making the change, period.
No, I'm just saying that
That's the motion,
what Commissioner
though.
I know
Rennie,
what the motion is.
what Commissioner Rennie just articulated is the motion on the floor.
So that's my point too, is that
Yeah.
we're voting to extend the
Yes.
period of time in deference to what you said.
Until
It's
such
already
time.
been passed. We're voting on that issue right now.
Right. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, we have a motion on the floor to extend the time period, whatever is necessary, to go out for bids and train and have the adequate staff to make these changes, and then it will come back to the Board of Commissioners for final approval. So,
So, can you clarify to me that if we voted yes on this, then we're still going to subcontract the existing?
We're gonna move forward with the-
this stuff, period.
they've got to demonstrate that they have a plan in place and that they've got people trained and they have the number of people available to do the job.
That we are still voting to discontinue the soil erosion office from using their personnel.
We already
At
voted.
some point in time.
Not until they have this in place and we're satisfied it's
I'm
in
with her.
place.
I think it should be started over.
Okay. All right, we have a motion on the floor. Everybody understands the motion? All right, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Wheelock?
Yes.
Thomas?
No.
Rennie?
No.
Max Bauer?
Yes.
Lemkool?
No.
Lathrop?
Yes.
Inman?
Yes. Motion passes 4-3.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'm asking that my motion to reconsider my vote be on the Ways and Means Committee.
Okay, that's fine. Yep, that'll be.
Thank you.
Do we need a motion for that?
No, a commissioner can put an item on.
Yep.
So, Dave, if you could put that item on for Commissioner Lemkool for Ways and Means. Okay, we now will move on to new business. I just want to, we don't have an item here, so under notices and announcements, I'll make the report of the ad hoc committee for appointments, but there's nothing under new business, so we'll go to second public comment. Any members of the public wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we will close second public comment. We have commissioner committee reports. Anyone have any commissioner reports? None. We'll go to notices and announcements. I just want to let you know that today we had the ad hoc committee meet for the Commission on Aging appointments and the Airport Commission appointments. We have a recommendation in place. However, the meeting got over at approximately 5 o'clock, so we didn't have time to go up to administration and type up the recommendation and the names and the terms and those kinds of things. So I will be meeting with Chris tomorrow, and we will place that on the Ways and Means packet for your consideration.
Can you tell us who you make the recommendation?
I don't have that here with me, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do want to say I was in on that, and boy, and Charlie was too. Boy, we had such wonderful, magnificent, highly qualified people. We couldn't have made a bad choice. We had some very, very good people, and it was hard to choose. I was very impressed with those folks.
Commissioner Renning.
I would echo that. I thought the interview was very, I think you handled
Were
it
they all
very
from
well.
abroad?
And it was a pleasure to sit on that committee and do that. I am so impressed with the people that are showing up now,
Right.
wanting to perform and do service for this community. I want everyone out there to know, we sit on these committees, but it can be very difficult when we get down to 1 or 2 people who to choose. And we put a lot of thought into it. It's not something we take lightly, I can tell you that for a fact. I was very happy to be a part of it. I thought Dan and Larry did a great job.
Okay. Anybody else have anything under notices and announcements, other than reminding you we have road commission interviews at 3:30 on December 17th?
I've got
Commissioner Max
one.
Bauer?
The Commission on Aging Finance Committee meeting that normally occurs in December has been canceled due to a lack of items.
Okay. Anyone else? Seeing none, we will close notices and announcements. Do we have a closed session tonight?
No, we do not.
Thank you. We need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Max Bauer, seconded by Rennie. All in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you.
I voted against that. Voted against everything.
Those have been